This is The Fifth Estate, a conversation between young African scholars from the Fort Hall School of Government and Professor Mutahi Ngunye. This Sunday, we will go against the national grain. We have zero sympathy for Miguna. He's a blind zealot in a game between the prince and the prince. And here's the tragedy. Miguna is being set up by both Uhuru and Raila. By behaving badly this week, Uhuru was deliberately fattening Miguna. Now Miguna is larger than life. He's a fat, manufactured hero. What is more, the crowds have told Raila never to go to Kisumu without Miguna. His peace rallies with Uhuru cannot happen without Miguna. And by behaving badly, Uhuru has made Miguna equal to Raila. In sum, Raila has been played. But there's one more thing. As Raila and his battery of lawyers were talking theory of government to the judges, Ruto was talking the practice of government to the NASA orphans abandoned by Raila. This plot is thick. In fact, we will not be surprised if Kalonzo, Wetangula and Mudavadi do a second handshake with Ruto. Allow us to break this down.
In the past, we have argued that Uhuru and Ruto have a very high gangster index. They are a dangerous duo. Anyone who survives the ICC has high street credibility. And Raila has underestimated this gangster index. For starters, Miguna is a manufactured hero. Each time Uhuru humiliates him, Miguna becomes a bigger hero. And this is deliberate. The intention is to build him up and then send him to the house of Baba as a political nuisance. And it is working. But there is a second blind fact for the aging Baba man. In our view, the handshake was a trap. It was like the flower known as the Venus flytrap. It eats flies. The leaves of this flower look like a mouth, and it has sharp teeth. And like Harambee House, the inside of its mouth is a bright red color. Around the mouth of the flower, like Harambee House, is a spray of irresistible sweet nectar. This is what attracts flies and juicy frogs. When they land on this mouth, the jaws of the flower flap with speed. And the more the flies struggle to get out, the faster they are digested by the flower.
Raila is like this fly. He was attracted to Harambee House by the red carpets of legitimacy and the sweet nectar of power. And he was not wrong. After his mock swearing in, the crowds were driving him to do more daring things. They were pushing him to a deadly edge. And between the edge and the sweet nectar of Harambee House, all of us would choose the nectar. If Raila is in the jaws of Harambee House, like a fly therefore, it is natural. We must not judge him. However, he must avoid only one thing: panic. What kills the fly in the jaws of the Venus flytrap is erratic behavior, and Raila exhibited panic at the airport. He pinched a policeman using the same hand that did the shaking with Uhuru. Not good. Then we were told he called Uhuru to release Miguna. That was panic. Not believable. Besides, Raila told us that Nkaiseri called him before he died. Olentimama called him before he died. Jacob Juma called him before he died. None of this is believable. To survive the jaws of Harambee House, Raila should keep still.
With the handshake, two things happened. One, a zip was put on Raila's mouth. Now, he cannot talk loudly as he should about Cambridge Analytica. He cannot complain about dictatorship, and he cannot contradict Uhuru. The deal put him in some sort of political bondage. And Miguna's books, they do not help. They depict Raila as a man intimidated by power. And this is why Kibaki used to address him from behind a curtain after keeping him waiting for hours. Uhuru is using the same tactics on Babaman. If Raila is scratching and pinching policemen, it is because he is a frustrated man. 2. Uhuru and Ruto are playing good cop, bad cop. Uhuru is a good cop with a handshake and promises galore. Ruto, he is a bad cop with underhand methods. The two manufactured Miguna's heroism to blindside Raila. The unusual use of force at the airport was calculated to boost Miguna's political stature. And as Raila scratched and pinched policemen over Miguna, Ruto was romancing the Luya leaders abandoned by Raila. He was harvesting the spoils of the NASA fallout. As a strategy, is this good or is this good? The verdict is yours.
As the devil's advocate, I am persuaded that Raila did the right thing with the handshake. He may look foolish for now, but only time will tell. His handshake is like the story of Pablo and Bruno. Their job was to fill the village tank with water using buckets. They were bucket carriers. Then one day, Pablo got annoyed. Instead of filling the city tank using buckets, he decided to build a pipeline from the river to the tank. It was an impossible task, but Pablo was determined. He abandoned half his salary, his wife left him, and his coalition partners vanished. But Pablo continued building the pipeline. Then one day, the pipeline was completed, and the village gathered to watch the dream unfold. As the water gushed into the village tank through the new pipe, Bruno stood on the sidewalk carrying his buckets, knowing his job was over. And only then did the village understand what Pablo had been doing. Like Pablo in the story, we can laugh at Raila and the handshake, but soon we will confirm that he is a pipe builder, and his opposers are just bucket carriers with no vision. Kaangumu, Baba Man.
If Raila is a visionary, like Pablo, he will build the pipelines between opposition and government. We laugh at him pinching policemen, alright, but we will only see his vision once the pipeline is completed. However, in our view, Raila cannot be a builder of pipelines and keep the company of bucket carriers. He must abandon the attention-seeking lawyers around him. They are not useful to him. And if they were, why were Matiang'i and Boynet fined an embarrassing 200,000 for deporting Miguna? We expected more, but the message from the courts was simple. Arguments from Raila lawyers were only worth 200,000, and without knowing it, they set the price tag for contempt of court. Now Matiang'i can deport Miguna 100 times without getting bankrupt. What is our point here? The Miguna project is dead, and in our view, it is dead because Baba said so. If the Kisumu crowds are telling Raila not to go home without Miguna, this Miguna man has become competition for Baba man. If Miguna is a hero manufactured by Uhuru, Raila will finish him by pretending to be a friend who pinches policemen. Either way, Miguna loses.
Miguna is a government project. And anybody who studied Politics 101 will tell you that. But unfortunately, he does not know it. And when the government exploits a clueless man like Miguna, the movies describe him as a man who knew too little. And this is the best way to describe Miguna. Let me explain why. 20 days ago, Raila was leading 6.7 million people to a destination called Canaan. Then all of a sudden, he made an about turn and abandoned his followers in the wilderness. And next time they heard of him, he was at the Harambee house doing a handshake with Pharaoh. Then he sent an SMS to his followers, now stranded in the wilderness. And he told them that Canaan has now changed, that the new Canaan is called a handshake. Abandoned in the wilderness, the 6.7 million followers found a new Joshua, and they called him Miguna. And with this new development, the government saw an opportunity to disorganize Raila. They decided to create a hero out of Miguna. So deportations and excessive use of force were used to manufacture this undeserving hero. Now he has become Joshua, the government project. But to Miguna, I would want to tell him this: do not resist deportation. The more dramatic these deportations are, the more heroic you become.
And now, our final thought. Miguna is just a footnote in the political history of Kenya. Or is he? Can we wish him away? Can we deport him 100 times and expect him to disappear? We doubt it. And as Victor Hugo taught us, nothing can stop an idea whose time has come. Like it or not, the country adores a hero. And Miguna is a hero to radical young people. We cannot speak for the entire country, but we can summon evidence from the Luo nation and speak to it. You cannot lead the Luo nation if you are not a hero. Raila is where he is because he dared Arap Moi. His father Jaramogi was a hero because he dared Jomo Kenyatta. Historically, leadership in the Luo Rothdom was reserved for heroes. And because no hero has emerged since Raila, the next leader of the Luo nation will be Miguna. Like William Ruto and Mzee Moi, Miguna will take the leadership of the Luo nation from Raila by force. And Uhuru likes it that way. This is why he is manufacturing Miguna as a hero by deporting him countless times.